Here, as you may notice, my background is different. I'm actually in Hong Kong. I've been in Hong Kong since Tuesday, and I'm like a weatherman today. I'm reporting on weather from Hong Kong. The topic for this week is simple. Our planet is really at stake. The climate change is not going to go away, and when we arrived in Hong Kong, that was on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we were given an alert that the tropical storm Toraji was going to reach a T8 warning. The Hong Kong Observatory has different tiering type of warning. T8 is pretty serious. If it goes down to T3, then life goes back to normal. So the weather in November for Hong Kong has been unusual. Hong Kong normally in November is actually a very dry month. We've been here a couple of days and it's been like raining almost every day, and the warnings for tropical storm in Hong Kong, they've given in 4 days, they've given 2 warnings. That's pretty unprecedented. Then what is so unusual about the Toraji tropical storm is that it is unprecedented. What has happened is that there were 3 or 4 tropical storms emerging in South China Sea and North Pacific at the same time in November. This has never happened before. So what happened was 4 tropical storms in Western North Pacific and the South China Sea. They all emerged at the same time. You have a few unusual things happening in November. November is supposed to be the driest month in Hong Kong. It's been wet. Many tropical storm warnings within just a few days. Then Storm Toraji was unprecedented. But it's not just in Hong Kong, don't get me wrong. Over in the other part of the world, in Spain, there have been catastrophic flooding in the Valencia region, where an entire year worth of rainfall fell in just a few hours. And of course, the entire Valencia region was inundated. It was disastrous. The casualties, there were more than 200 people that died in this flooding in Valencia. When the Prime Minister of Spain visited Valencia, when the King of Spain visited Valencia, the residents of Valencia were so angry that they actually threw things at the Prime Minister and the King. They really showed their anger. It was, the Valencia flood is like the tropical storms in Hong Kong in November. They are like a very rare type of weather disruption. And when I show you the videos of what happened in Valencia, you can see that it was horrendous.
Crews are searching for bodies in stranded cars and sodden buildings as residents salvage what they can from ruined homes following monstrous flash floods in Spain earlier this week. At least 158 lives were lost, and the death toll could rise as search efforts continue. The tragedy is already Spain's worst flood-related disaster in modern history, and meteorologists say human-driven climate change is making such extreme weather events more frequent and destructive.
Then you have thought that that's it, but over in South America, over in the Amazon region in Brazil suffered its worst drought on record. There were, of course, wildfire sweeping in Amazon. Can you imagine the Amazon basin is the largest tropical rainforest in the world? And can you imagine the wildfires in that area? Because there was it was the worst drought record affecting Brazil, affecting Peru, affecting Bolivia. And when you see the photos, you will see that the rivers just dried up. And it was something that nobody, no scientist, no climatologist ever imagined it would happen, of all places, in the Amazon. Then these are events that occurred simultaneously in different parts of the world. It is not just an isolated event in Valencia or in Hong Kong, it's all over the world. So I think the warning signs are clear. It's unequivocal that climate change is here. It cannot be, from my point of view, it cannot be reversed. Then to make it worse, to make the situation, to make the crisis worse, now you have the possibility of America exiting from the Paris Climate Agreement again. Because why? Because Trump is the US president again. Well, I call him King Trump. And he has already said that he's going to pull out of the Paris Agreement again. Well, the person, the entity that's going to be happy with Trump's re-election is Toyota Motors. Toyota Motors, the largest maker of the Toyota polluting internal combustion engine vehicles. They're going to be very happy. And if you look at Project 2025, which I've mentioned before, Trump has disassociated himself, tried to disassociate himself from Project 2025. But if you look at what happened in his first term and what he has said he's going to do in his second term, a lot of it is going to be based on Project 2025. So if you look at Project 2025, then it promises billions of tons of more carbon pollution, a lot more. And then you have a president, an American president, who does not believe in climate change, who says that climate change is not due to human activities. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you that that is a very foolish statement. And if you look at the chart that shows the projections under Project 2025, you look at the projections of US emission under the commitments made under the previous agreement, you find that the emissions will drop quite substantially. But if you look at what Project 2025 wants America to do, you find that carbon emissions from America, it's going to be a lot higher. Then finally, well, there are two more points when you talk about climate change: climate justice and cumulative emission. These are the two reasons why I'm so convinced that we cannot reverse global warming, we cannot prevent climate change crisis anymore. It's too late. From 1900 to 2015, the research done by Oxfam and the Stockholm Environment Institute said that the richest 1% contribute to 15% of cumulative emission. The richest 5%, which is about 300 million people, are responsible for 37% of the total growth in emission. The richest 10% in the world, which is about 600 million people, are responsible for more than half of the cumulative carbon emission, while the poorest 50%, which is about 3 to 4 billion people, are responsible for just 7% of cumulative emission. So it's climate injustice that has been responsible for a big part of global warming. The other single most important factor is cumulative emission. If you look at it from Industrial Revolution until now, the two biggest economies, that are responsible for more than 55% of cumulative emission is first Europe, which makes up a third of cumulative emission, America, which makes up more than a quarter of cumulative emission, and China is just about 13-14%. So if that is the case, then those two economies, US and Europe, who are the most responsible for global warming, they should have a higher responsibility for dealing with climate change. But then you have America, where the president doesn't believe in climate change. So where do we go? I do not know. I'm in Hong Kong now. I guess the next time I come to Hong Kong, you can't predict when typhoons are going to happen. You can't predict when tropical storms are going to happen. It could happen anytime, any month. Well, I do not know what to do. I do not know what to say. I just hope that leaders, people in power, can be a lot more responsible than what they are now. And then we as ordinary citizens will do whatever we possibly can to make sure that things don't get worse. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. I'm a weatherman reporting to you from Hong Kong, and I hope that we become a little bit more responsible in the things that we do with regards to climate change. Thank you. Please share our YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube and comment and like it whenever you can. Thank you very much.